we were just kind of talking about, people always trying to corral other people to think and do and behave the same. And it's actually a phenomena that I've become very familiar with because I've actually been writing about it recently. And the phenomena, just that everyone's we're conditioned since we're young to live inside of all kinds of social norms, which are considered like living in a box, and everybody just kind of is comfortable in that box and wants everybody else to be in the box with them. And that's the fascinating part of that phenomena, is that people get uncomfortable when you leave the box. They get uncomfortable, not you. They get uncomfortable because you left the box. And there's so many examples of that, where, our creators and our innovators and our leaders, a lot of them are the people who have left the box and took chances and went out there and tried something. And the fascinating part for me, because I consider myself one of those people that, you always know who they are because they're the ones that other people will say, oh, she's crazy, or can you believe she did that, or I can't believe she does that all the time, or this person, they're the black sheep of their family, or there's always something about them, or sometimes it's a positive thing, like, wow, I can't believe she does that, I would never do that, or but a lot of times it's a negative thing. And it's not really a negative thing, it's just that the people inside the box, they're all doing the same thing and thinking the same way and doing what you're supposed to do. They just can't fathom it. And like I said, that's where the creators and the innovators and all those people, they stepped outside of the box. That's not happening inside the box. And those are the people that everybody thought were crazy, or just something was different about them, or something was wrong with them. A lot of times it's students that teachers have said, they're never going to make it. And then they became entrepreneurs or creative. They didn't follow the traditional path. And those are the people that stepped out of the box. And all the people inside of the box are trying to call them back in and tell them, well, you shouldn't do that. You should do this. You need to go here. You need to go there. You need to do it like everybody else did it. And if everybody had listened, we would be so much further behind as a society because of the people that stepped outside of the box. So the people inside the box of social norms, they often deem themselves like the keeper of what's acceptable and what's normal and what the rules are to be acceptable and normal. And yet they're the first people to preach inclusion and social acceptance. But if somebody steps outside of the box, they're the first ones to attack them and judge them and call them crazy. And so it's as if they only accept you if you're inside the box, which, it's the opposite of what they think of themselves. And then, they're very uncomfortable when you leave the box. So they're always trying to call you back in. It makes them uncomfortable, which is interesting because the people who step outside of the social norms, they're the ones who are soaring and experiencing and happy. And the people are looking at them thinking, I want a little bit of what they have, but they're outside the box and that's not safe or that's not acceptable. Whereas the people that have stepped out and are experiencing and exploring, they're trying to get the other people to come join them and say, hey, look what I found out here. But nobody ever wants to listen to what they're saying because it's too scary. It's outside of the box. And so you have these two factions almost that are pulling on each other. And yet, one sees something that the other doesn't see, and the other one has these rules that the other one doesn't want to follow. And so it's just an interesting phenomenon.
100%, because we were talking about we would have never made it to the moon. We would have never crossed the ocean. We would have never flown those planes.
It's true.
There are so many things that we wouldn't have done had people been too afraid to step outside of the box and do things that everyone else said were impossible. So
it's true.
Anyway, I love your ideas, Lynn. Thank you for sharing.